Hi everyone, welcome to the Ethereum forecast. I would like to send this video temporary as a temporary part of the package so that I can send you the package before the end of the year as I promised. And then I will record another video in the first week of January when I'm more settled, as I'm quite busy with family at the moment, and I don't want to make such serious predictions when my attention is split into so many different directions. So I'm keen to send this video to you today because last night I posted you a bear fractal, and I deliberately made it very clear that it's only concerning the possible bottoms. That doesn't mean that I expect all of this to pan out exactly as it is here. It is possible, but it's highly unlikely that a fractal will live so long. The most important thing from this fractal to know is that this is counted from the midpoint between the solar eclipses, and I have obtained the price action from the previous time when we had a midpoint between the solar eclipses. I like that here in the beginning it was the price action at present was panning along exactly according to this fractal, and that is why I trusted it to a point. I never trust anything completely, but to a point. Unfortunately, it didn't deliver the bottom yesterday, 29th of December, which was my main date for a bottom. And today it's presenting here like a top, although these days the market makers do like to manipulate like this. They make a candle look like a top and it turns out after that to be a bottom. But yes, going by standard technical analysis, this doesn't look like a well-shaped bottom. And also, I mean, all of this clearly is looking like head and shoulders. However, again, many head and shoulders patterns have not materialized, and the price action has continued upwards. So based on all of my fractals that I showed you in my previous email, not the last email but the one before, where there were many fractals laid on top of each other showing historical price action of the current cycles, most of them are showing that very soon we will head up, and most of them are showing a local top somewhere around the date of the inauguration. So for the moment we cannot make a conclusion exactly on the daily time frame, which daily time frame will present the local bottom. And for the moment I'm keeping this fractal. I haven't invalidated it yet, and we'll see if it makes the bear reversal in the next couple of days. That means that the fractal will remain valid. If it doesn't make the bear reversal and it continues heading down after, this is the last day that this fractal is pointing, 1st of January. After that it should be heading up. Only on 1st of January I will see whether I will keep this fractal or whether I will invalidate it. Okay, so there is a lot to be said for Ethereum. The most important reason why I want to send you this video today is I want to be clear that I expect very big things from Ethereum in 2025. Not because everybody else expects Ethereum to be bullish in 2020, everything to be bullish in 2025. I need to do my own calculations because I'm trading with my own money and I'm responsible towards myself. And the calculations are as follow. Ethereum was born on the day of the fire sheep or goat. It's the same animal in Chinese astrology, sheep and goat. And as you can see here, it's all goats on 3 time frames, on the most important time frames. On hourly time frame, it's a wood snake, which is just a coincidence that this year we are actually in the 2025 is the year of the wood snake, so it will be easier actually to assess the compatibility between Ethereum and the year of the wood snake. Those of you who have done the personal astrology forecast already know how to make this assessment. Wood is the parent of fire in the circle of support. Wood supports fire, and fire is the parent of earth. Fire supports earth. On both of these layers, on earthly branch and on heavenly stem, 2025 will present a very strong support to Ethereum, meaning that it will energize it, it will strengthen it, and Ethereum is expected to perform exceptionally high in 2025 based on that. These are some technical kind of words here. The fire goat is a storage of fire, which means it is a storage of money. It offers a good storage of money. It offers value as a storage of money. However, it is a grave of wood. The yearly pillar is a grave of wood, which means that it is not very big on by natal chart. It's not very ambitious, because wood represents ambition. And again, these are all female animals. The female animals do not represent ambition and drive in Chinese astrology, because ambition and drive are considered masculine qualities, and there is not a single masculine quality in the Ethereum chart. However, does that mean that Ethereum will never be ambitious? No, it doesn't, because I have said it many times before to people who have got the personal forecast. If you don't have it in your chart, you just wait for the cycle. The cycle will offer it to you. And exactly in 2025 is the right cycle, because the year of the snake is actually the sky horse for Ethereum. And what sky horse means is actually the area of the chart which represents ambition. So in 2025 we will see a different Ethereum. We will see a very ambitious Ethereum. And again, the support is expected to drop lower in the relevant months which are vulnerable. So meaning therefore high volatility. So let me cover now which months I expect to be vulnerable. Today I will not commit myself to making a sensible forecast for every monthly time frames. I'm just keen to send you the chart and to be clear about the yearly time frame that I expect very high performance of Ethereum in 2025. And also I want to give you the most vulnerable months, and when I expect the lowest pivots. So these are February and March, because both Bitcoin and Ethereum have them as very vulnerable months. And I will give you the date for the lowest pivot that I expect. The lowest pivot of 2025, the bottom of 2025, I expect to take place on the 19th of February. There are several confluences converging on 19th of February, and there are several confluences converging on February and March being vulnerable months, both from Chinese astrology and from Western astrology. So when I send you this package, you can do a bit of reading for yourself. You don't need to read all of these small letters here. This is just an analysis which may be boring for you, because at the end of the day, as traders, all you want to know is the forecast for the monthly time frames and the pivots. So I'm not expecting you to read those, but I have included them because at the end of the day, I'm using this chart for myself, and I need to be tracking my reasoning just in case something goes unexpected. So these sections you don't need to read. I have made a visual presentation for you for Ethereum friends and Ethereum enemies. And I have given every single animal here what month it is for those of you who have never used this system before. I'm currently backtesting them. So I haven't completely finished the backtesting. I will report the backtesting results in January. But I have also been comparing Ethereum with Bitcoin, and what has panned out so far is that Ethereum tends to play to the drum of Bitcoin, and somehow Ethereum cycles are not very obvious, that Ethereum seems to be following Bitcoin cycles. So examples are January and February, for example. So January is the month of the ox, which is an enemy of Ethereum, enemy of the goat. These are polar opposites, 180 degrees apart on the natal chart, on the chart. And in Chinese astrology, the 180 degrees is called the clash. It's considered the most bearish element, the most bearish earthly branch for the native. And as you can see here, most Januaries have closed on green. These are real green closing candles, by the way. They're not forecast made from knowledge. They're the real closing candles. Up until the end of 2024 are the real closing candles, and after that begin the forecasts made after that. Okay. So yes, if Ethereum was following its own chart, this January should be mostly red, and you can see only 2 months have closed on a red, 3 months have closed on a red in Ethereum's life. And why that is because the ox is actually a nobleman for Bitcoin, which means a very bull area of the chart. So January is bull for Bitcoin, and here it is, it's bull for Ethereum as well. Same goes for February. February is very bullish for Bitcoin, and you can see here only one red closure of February, given that the month of the tiger broadly speaking as an animal is enemy number 1 of Ethereum. Not bad. And it's still closing on a green. So it is following Bitcoin's movements to a very large extent. And you may ask, well, what's the point then of doing it separately for Ethereum? Why can't we just follow the Bitcoin predictions for Ethereum? Well, because there are differences. So for example, every now and again, Ethereum cycle does come to play. For example, January 2024 closed on a green for Bitcoin, and it managed to close on a red for Ethereum because the ox is an enemy of Ethereum. I need to do more of these types of backtesting in order to make sensible conclusions for the rest of the months. Just from first of observation, what we can see is that this season here tends to be red. When you scroll up, you can see what months these are. And these are the months of July. The month of July is one of the most bearish months for Ethereum, which is its own month. That is the month of the goat. It's mostly red, and then August tends to be red for Ethereum as well. So based on historical performance, we may actually expect the same from July. However, it is a bull month for Bitcoin, so we have to be careful with our conclusions. That is why at this moment in time, I don't want to commit to actually make these statements. This is consider this forecast as a temporary forecast for 2025 and beyond. This section here, it's not really for your eyes, again, because I make this product for myself, for my own trading. So this is subject to revision. Those of you who know this system, who have done the personal astrology forecasting. You know how to analyze this, but I'm asking you to refrain from that until I actually have made more stable confirmations. And there is no such thing as a confirmation in trading, but I need to find some more serious confluences for this before I can make these as formal statements. I'm just sending you the package exactly how I made it for myself, and I'm guiding you which sections are for your eyes. This is definitely for your eyes here. These are real closing candles. And this section here, I'm describing the animals and the friends. Also, you can read here a bit about the numerology, why Ethereum is following Bitcoin and why Ethereum is weak, and why Ethereum cycles are not that obvious. That is because Ethereum is destiny number 9, which means the younger one. Very often people with destiny number 9 are not the first child in the family. And Bitcoin is destiny number 6, which is the eternal caregiver, mature, stable, always in a supportive role. So they have a mother and child relationship. Bitcoin is the mother and Ethereum is the child. Do expect that Ethereum will break out? Possibly, but after school age. Still, we need to keep an open mind. This is just one confluence. We cannot make these hard and fast decisions. I'm just presenting different confluences. Again, this analysis here is not for your eyes with the small letters. And I'm presenting here another rule, which is a separate confluences. This needs to be back tested here. I have already done a lot of back testing, but it's kind of endless. I need to double check a few things. So the conclusion is that for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, February and March are very vulnerable months in 2025. And the date when I expect the lower bottom, the lowest bottom, the yearly bottom of 2025 is the 19th of February. Please keep this date confidential. I don't want everybody to know that date, because when that becomes public knowledge, then the market makers will think of some other way to trick us and to steal our money. This is another rule here, 369 compatibility, and I have extracted the important months. March, June, and September is by Western astrology, and February, May, and August and November are by Chinese astrology. One thing now, kind of, that I said between the lines, but I didn't highlight it, and I'm going to highlight it now for you. So if I say that February and March are looking vulnerable for Ethereum, naturally, the month after that will close on a green, isn't it? It just logically, if one month closes on a red, then the next one will be closing on a green. So for that reason, I've got March as a green candle, as a green closure, because I do expect the lowest bottom in 2025 to happen in February. The lowest bottom for 2025, right? I'm not saying that the bottom will be lower than 2024 bottom, although it could be, but the lowest bottom for 2025 is expected to be in February. Naturally, then March is expected to be green, although March may turn out to be vulnerable. March is vulnerable already. That is known, that March is quite vulnerable because Venus is going retrograde in March. So there are other events there that may contribute to March also closing on a red, but definitely I'm more sure about April, is that April is expected to close on a green. These numbers that you see here, I'm running a numerology system in parallel to the Chinese system, and now month number 4 is known to be a very bullish month. When I say month number 4, that doesn't mean actually April. Any month could be a month number 4. The calculation is done in a different way. So it just happens that this time it coincides with April. There is a very strong historical probability that April will be a bull month. And this is how much I'm ready to say at this moment in time. So I covered more or less the first quarter of 2025. I'm still not sure about January closure right now, but hopefully by the first week of January I will obtain more clarity once I'm more settled. And I will be back in touch with you then in the first week of January. If there is anything you don't understand, feel free to send me a question. And I have extracted these lucky numbers for Ethereum. When I say lucky numbers, what I mean is that the support and the resistance, these numbers are likely to shape the support and resistance levels. So for example, currently this level 3333 has been really very prominent for the past few months. I mean, look at this here. It's all 3333. It has acted as a very strong support for Ethereum. It's still on this level at the moment. I entered the long position, the big long position with all the money I've got. I entered it on 3333. If it falls a bit lower, I don't mind, because I expect that in November it will go higher towards the inauguration date. Most expect that, so who knows, maybe the market makers will decide to dump in January, but I think that is less likely that before inauguration the market will dump. I think the likelihood is that the market will go up towards the inauguration. So, and even if something happens in January that it goes in the opposite direction, I'm sure that I'll manage to make at least 2x from Ethereum. The game in 2024 was 2x. Whenever we wanted to make more, we actually lost opportunities. So I'm not that greedy for 2025. If I make 2x, I'm actually very happy with that. And I'm convinced that I'll make 2x in 2025. But yes, we always strive for more. So I will keep researching, and whatever I discover, I will share with you. Bye for now.